Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today y Mañana. I'm Alex. This is Nick. We're super excited to have you joining us on a windy morning here in Charlottesville, Virginia, but that's just a great opportunity to stay indoors, get into your cozy place, grab your café con leche, and watch some Today y Mañana. So we're excited for it. Love being here on the I Love CVille Network set. Big thank yous, of course, to our presenter, Emergent Financial Services, and to our awesome partners, Matthias, Realty, Charlottesville Opera, Craddock Series Insurance, and all our amazing partners. We love them all, and we appreciate them all. And so, and I appreciate that Nick is on here with me. This pair
covering
hasn't
for
been seen
Xavier
in a while.
Yes. Who wanted to be here because it's Christmas, but he was unfortunately delayed.
That's all right. That's all right. So this has been the longest I'm pretty sure I've been on with Xavier in the last 6 months. I've been on with Michael. I'm not sure I've been on with you in the last 6 months.
No, we said that within the last 6 months, though. We did a show a couple.
We did?
Yes, we did about a month or so ago.
No,
not very memorable, according to you, but the guests were great. Yeah. Well, I loved when Christy and Michael walked in and they saw me and they're like,
it's him.
No Xavier. No.
That was my reaction when I went to But we are, as Nick mentioned, and as you probably heard before, we had the cameras on. We're going to be joined by two awesome guests. We're going to be joined by Christine Fairfield and Michael Slon. We're going to be talking, of course, Christine is from the Oratorio Society of Virginia. Michael is from so many things, but among them are the Oratorio Society of Virginia, the UVA Singers, and the, Charlottesville? I guess Charlottesville Symphony will be involved with the UVA Singers for the Family Holiday Concert that we'll also be talking about. Already got some people tuning in. Monica Miller from Montana is tuning in this morning. She's good morning, Monica. Dr. Elizabeth Urpí is giving us a shout out. So thank you, Dr. Urpí. We appreciate it.
Like and share is what Xavier likes to say.
Exactly.
And share.
So like and share. Send us questions, comments. We love reading them. We love sharing them. And so be sure. I think we have even more. Who is this? Sometimes I have to check. I have to do the little eyeball to see who else is is watching. Timothy Allen liking the show. Judy Ann Watchit Smith.
Oh, yeah.
I hope I pronounced that right.
Singers.
Liking it. So we appreciate everyone who is joining us. It's always done. Oh, I think, did you mention Jeremy Wilson, Vanessa Parto, Marlene Jones?
Yep.
Liking the show this morning. So thanks, everyone. Already, I love it when we've already got people tuning in. We haven't even started yet. That tells you how excited
everyone's
people
excited to hear the
So we've
news.
got a lot to cover. The big, I think the one where you should still be able to buy tickets is going to be Oratorio Society of Virginia Christmas at the Paramount, 7:30 on December 21st. Is going to be. That is a Saturday, if I'm correct. And but I say let's jump. I'm ready to jump right into it. How you doing?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we are excited to welcome this morning Christine Fairfield, Executive Director, I think is the title for
Correct.
Oratorio Society of Virginia, and Michael Slon, Conductor, I guess, Music Director.
Maestro.
Maestro.
On the seventh day he rested.
And so forth for
Maybe
for
not quite
Oratorio
that far.
Society. Yeah. Christine, Michael, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Oh, it's always so great to have you guys on. So, I mean, where can we start? Maybe we can start
with the
do a little bit
Oratorio
in
Society.
Do we want to start with we'll start with the one that we can, there's still some tickets.
Messiah Singing 2 has tickets, but
Messiah Singing. So,
but you're right, yeah, we can go backwards in time.
in time. We'll do it the furthest.
Let's
to the
do that
closest.
because I'd like to, because I know that Christine and Michael both the Oratorio Society, and so I'd like to get, because there was also a Benjamin Britten story we were promised, so I want to make sure we get to those things first and at least cover that basis.
Yeah,
and then
so maybe let's start with, tell us a little bit about what people will be able to expect at the Christmas at the Paramount this year.
Well, so, as the community knows, the Oratorio Society, which is our kind of large continuous community chorus here in the area, we have, of course, many choruses, but that's the longest running one, does our annual Christmas at the Paramount concerts, and this year, December 21st, Saturday, where we will present both kind of a broad selection of holiday favorites, carols, and even a little bit of audience sing-along, with also guest choirs from two area places. We have Regent Schola Cantorum, and our partner group also Voces Lete, which Will Cook from Charlottesville High School leads. And then we also, as part of that program, always present one more substantial work, meaning in terms of length, compositional content, etc. So this year that will be the Britten Ceremony of Carols, which I think a lot of people do know, and features harp.
Yes.
Right? And then we'll have also a few soloists, and we'll have brass quintet as well for those performances. Did I miss anything, Christine?
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about our soloist?
Well, sure. Well, we have some soloists right from the chorus. One of them is sitting next to me.
Oh, wow.
Actually.
Not what I meant, but sure.
Yeah, fantastic singer, as well as executive director. But also, we do have a guest artist with us, Chuanwan Liu, who's one of my former students at UVA. He's a countertenor. He went on to the Bard Conservatory.
Okay.
He has been a semifinalist in the Metropolitan Opera competition. Obviously, the only countertenor the year that he was a semifinalist. Yes. Yeah, he has sung with the Philadelphia Orchestra and so on. And he has moved back to the region, and so we were able to get him to join us for these concerts.
Tell us a little bit about, because I think probably a lot of our audience will recognize tenor, soprano, and baritone. Countertenor.
What is a countertenor?
Yes.
So a countertenor is generally a male singer who sings in what we would consider a female range, mezzo or even up to soprano. Yes. So what they do is they have it's usually not a mix, it's usually a highly developed falsetto that has a ton of resonance and really, beautiful.
And often very agile, very virtuoso.
Yeah, and Chuanwan is also very musical and expressive, highly intentional when he sings. And so you will hear a male singing in a higher range than a tenor, than normal, not than normal, than we are accustomed to. Right. And there are other pieces. Sometimes if people do Bernstein Chichester psalms and they don't want to risk having a child soloist, although I prefer that kind of for the innocence of it. But a lot of people will use a countertenor for that.
Oh, interesting.
John Adams, the contemporary composer, has written pieces that have 3 countertenors.
Wow.
El Nino, his kind of modern Messiah, has 3 countertenors. Yeah.
So that'll be for many people, that might be a new experience.
I think it could be.
And a beautiful one. I'm pretty sure I heard a countertenor. Charlottesville Opera had one earlier this year in one of their, I think it was the event where like tons of people sang.
Oh, great!
And it's an interesting and a beautiful.
It is a beautiful, tone. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Rory Shaw tuning in this morning. The wonderful Holly Slon.
Oh, she's the best. She's the best.
Thank you for joining us this morning. So you've got this amazing soloist, and then what I love about, because I went last year with Elizabeth to the Christmas at the Paramount, and one of the fun things I remembered is, so you've got your different, your familiar carols, your familiar tunes, but there's always like a kind of central piece that's a little larger in scope that people can kind of enjoy and really almost dig into a little more because it's not just 5 minutes long.
Exactly.
This year, I'm guessing that's Benjamin Britten's
That's definitely the Britten
Ceremony of Carols. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Well, so the piece, what would you say, Christine? 11 movements, I think, or so.
Yes, 10.
And it's framed by the chant, Hodie chant, Christus natus est, which Britten used to kind of bookend the carols. He found this book of old poetry, and it's mainly I want to say Middle English, right? Yeah. So, and then he set these originally for a treble choir, SSA, but within a year of its composition, it was arranged also SATB,
which is
soprano, alto, tenor, bass, which is what our chorus is. So. That means kind of a contemporary adult chorus with men and women can do the piece as well. Together. And we've done it once, maybe a decade or more before. But the choir loves this piece. Yeah. Most choirs love it. It's a great piece. And there's a very interesting story about its composition, which is it was 1942, so right in the middle of World War II. Britain was coming back from America to England, and he had a couple manuscripts with him, including the Hymn to Saint Cecilia, another famous Britain piece. Excuse me. And they were confiscated by customs.
Oh my goodness.
Because of some crazy theory that they had codes in them, you know. So now he gets on the boat. He doesn't have. So he starts rewriting the Hymn to Saint Cecilia, and on that journey, which took quite a while, he was writing Ceremony of Carols on the ocean, on the ocean liner.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Can you imagine that? And
Unbelievable.
so he probably had to dream it up, imagine it mainly in his head, and amidst whatever the sea waves were like.
Right.
Not to mention U-boats, were patrolling. I mean,
Yes.
this is not the
Those are
most
dangerous journeys.
a dangerous journey at that point. And he was able to focus enough to write this beautiful music.
Oh my goodness,
That's amazing,
And you wonder if the first one hadn't been confiscated.
Well,
Would he
that
have
one,
written anything on that, like if Saint Cecilia hadn't been confiscated from him,
I don't
would
know.
he have just taken a journey, or were his sort of
Juices
musical
flowing.
juices flowing because
Yeah.
he had to rewrite this?
That's
this
a good
piece
question.
That was confiscated.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
But he was in
amazing.
top form, as the audiences will hear when they come to the concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
fascinating.
What a story.
And such a great composer, really. In my opinion, one of the most important musical artists, composers of the 20th century.
Was Brayton himself?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I feel like there's people who like classical music are very exposed to Britain, and then it's just like you hear about him because I think there's the introductory. What is the name of the piece that he wrote? A children's
Young People's Guide to the Orchestra.
to the orchestra, and I feel like more people will recognize that, but not have a chance necessarily to delve into a lot of his other works, or they don't
the
know how. Yeah.
operas or the choral pieces.
Right. So
yeah.
this is a great chance because it's also a
Absolutely.
Christmas,
Yeah.
a Christmas piece,
Yeah.
to enjoy that. So that's
100%.
wonderful. Yeah.
The other thing that's really special about that piece for me as a performer is that the accompaniment is harp. It's just harp, and it's rhythmically and harmonically just incredibly sweet, but also complex.
Yeah,
and
imaginative.
it shows off that instrument, which won't be you don't see harp on a big stage on a regular basis. No. We have
By
a wonderful
itself,
by itself, certainly.
Yes.
You might
with
see it
the
part of
orchestra.
a large orchestra, but as the sole accompaniment to this work, it does offer just kind of a very festive
It does.
and intimate.
Good
Some
point.
of the movements are very almost like lullabies, and some of
Introspective,
them
yeah.
are really celebratory and imagine Hark the Heralds, but with a Britain twist.
Yes.
And we have a fabulous harpist coming from Richmond, Carly Lanham. That's going to be with us for those two concerts, and
That'll be
can't wait to
beautiful.
hear.
Yeah. It will be beautiful.
You're right about the intimacy, which I kind of. It really is. You'd be surprised, I think, for like almost 90% chorus.
Yeah.
How
It is
intimate
90.
It is 90.
some
Yeah.
of the songs and the sounds can be because of the range and the talent. Not everything is.
I think that's
Some
part
of
of our
powerful.
job, right? To be able to have gorgeous pianissimo, subtle moments, even with a big choir, and then in other moments, kind of, I think unleash is the wrong
Yes.
word, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah. Like
Just
the end of the Beethoven.
let it,
Exactly. No,
right. Beethoven 9 last spring, which we also talked to you about.
Can we just?
We could talk about that too, but
give that a shout out.
let
How
out that
wonderful
sound.
That was.
Oh, thank you.
Because I will admit, and I told Michael this, Alex and I are very particular about a very few, like we're not picky, but there's about 2 or 3 pieces in classical music where we are very, very picky. And I think one of them is Schubert's 8th and one of them is Beethoven's 9th. I think I can speak for both of us in that. And especially with the end of Beethoven's 9th, we are extraordinarily we're very
There's just
open-minded.
a couple
but
recordings and composed ways that we really
there's
truly enjoy. They're just
there's a way
special.
it's done which we feel really captures what Beethoven was trying to achieve,
Uh-huh.
and you did it perfectly.
Well, thank
The
you.
Oratorio was it was like a master. It was like exactly how every moment was perfectly done, like exactly as we felt like Beethoven really wanted it to be
Oh,
done.
thank you.
So it was like
Well,
a
we worked hard
completely
at the details.
transformative experience.
Yeah, it's
It
amazing
was
to
for
hear
the
it live.
singers. it was
very
moving.
Yes.
That entire production last year, but especially the end.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for coming. Who's just out of curiosity, as a sidebar, whose recordings are you big fans of?
Herbert von Karajan.
Yeah, we like Karajan.
My favorite.
Which one? I think he's got like
1968.
Okay.
68.
The 68.
1968. I have a set that has him doing all 9
With Berlin.
Beethoven with Berlin.
Yeah.
And it's in 1968.
I think
and
that's
it's the combination. Just very, very frequently you will hear it done. I don't know if it's a preference of conductors or a preference of choruses, where it's just a little slow. They really slow down the part. Like you'll hear the symphony at a normal pace, but then the fourth movement comes and it's just a little slower. And
Interesting.
Karajan does the opposite.
Well, what I love, the way you did it and the way Karajan does it, that I particularly like, is that there's that just orchestral double fugue right before it hits the big moment that everyone is very familiar with. And a lot of, as Alex is saying, they slow it down, and so it feels very, stately, which is not what I imagine. And when I've read the score, I'm like, it's not supposed to be like a stately lead up. It's supposed to be almost like a frenzied,
Might be those crazy strings they're
impassioned
trying to play
moment
them,
that's
but-
trying to get up to this
Yeah.
big thing. So the fact that you were able to capture that is like it's all these different elements coming together in an orchestra, and then it just stops, and then boom, chorus.
and then-
And it's like that's like for me is the climax of the whole piece, is like the most important part. And you did it just
so
right.
beautiful.
Like it wasn't so fast that you can't tell what's going on. Like you can't hear the
Yeah,
melodies.
fast for fast sake.
Yeah,
Not
but it
good.
was fast enough so that you could feel like it's almost like the music itself was
energy.
getting out of
Drive.
control, but you're not. Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You want to have
Like-
that drive.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
That moment has a lot of,
And the energy. And I think you just, also the strength of the chorus captured it so
Yeah, they
beautifully.
did beautifully.
And that's really, I think, one of the beauties of it. Because I noticed at that time, I remember at last year's Christmas concert, someone was even motivated to like sing along from the top in the audience,
Balcony.
right? Because the energy that just the all those voices singing powerfully brings.
That's beautiful if
Yeah.
it inspires someone to draw something out of themselves, Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it-
And Christmas at the Paramount is always a good chance to do that because
Yes.
we actually invite the audience to sing with us.
We
on
do have a
number.
sing-along carol.
there is
yeah.
there's one this year.
Are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
going to reveal what it is, or do we have to go in person?
Well, sure. I think it's Hark the Herald.
Hark the Herald.
You can practice up before you come.
Oh, that's what we need to do. Gotta practice.
Work on your harmonies.
Oh, I can't do that. I'm like, no, I'm just
Some
going to enjoy
hard
everyone else. So I'm at that crossroads where I know too much about music, so I can hear myself completely not getting it right.
Well, that's all right.
But
There'll
I'm
be a
also
lot
not
of
good
sound.
enough to get back into the
Fair
room.
enough. Fair enough.
I keep chasing the key.
So you're saying we shouldn't pursue you for the auditions?
No, do not call me out. Do not
okay.
make me audition. Me and Xavier, I'm already nixing him, even though he's not here. He cannot sing. He cannot sing at all. He doesn't know what a pitch is.
Yeah, but it really is a beautiful experience. I was able to be there last year and the Paramount is just beautifully.
Hey, Paramount is a beautiful.
ambiance
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, good decorations,
The
Jason.
decorations are beautifully done, so you really do feel very festive as soon as you walk in, and you feel even more festive when you walk
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So it's people.
Oh,
should
wonderful.
really-
That's the idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really is a great experience, and that'll be December 21st at 7:30.
And 2:30, but
And 2:30, but
2:30
2:30 is basically sold out.
That's
yeah.
What do we
That's
count? Like
fantastic.
three seats left, or
3 on the main floor and 2 in the balcony, or
Yeah.
1 in the balcony. Yeah, it's very
that's fantastic.
so if you are a solo person, you can still go to 2:30, or if you're willing to split up as a pair or a family, like you can still go, but
Otherwise,
it's basically
7:30.
sold out. 7:30. So
7:30.
make sure you grab your tickets now because I believe 7:30 too. The main
7:30 is
orchestras.
also doing quite well. Yeah, the main orchestra center has less than a handful of seats available, singletons, and still
So
some
if
in the
you-
sides and in the balcony.
So
yeah.
jump on your tickets now. Like go get them.
and where do we
now.
get the tickets?
TheParamount.net.
Exactly.
There we go. Okay.
Paramount.net.
You're good. You're good. You could do this one day.
No.
That was my
I'll let
next
you
question.
handle that.
Because I wasn't expecting the pop quiz. Where do we get the
Where do you get the tickets?
And if you're unlucky and don't get a ticket for coming in
Yeah.
person, we do
Yeah.
have a live stream
Correct.
option That's available through our website, oratoriosociety.org.
Unlimited capacity.
And that has an unlimited capacity. The more viewers, the better. That is for the 7:30 performance. And the link does stay up for a couple of weeks afterwards. So if you can't watch it live, if you have a conflict, but you still want to participate in watching it in the holiday spirit, or just experience the Paramount and the Oratorio Society for the first time if you've never been. That is another great way to do that. We have
that's awesome. But you get
options.
You could put it on. If you turn on your fireplace, put it on.
Put on your big screen. Yeah,
be like you're there.
Yes,
that's for our viewers in Miami, New York. I mean, if you're in
Montana,
Charlottesville,
whoever
yes,
go in person.
Or in Montana.
Yeah, didn't you say someone's listening from Montana?
Right.
Amazing.
Monica Miller from Montana.
Wonderful.
And I know we have regular viewers from New York and Miami, so I'm telling those people you can check in
for sure.
For sure.
If you're in Charlottesville,
but you're in Charlottesville, you gotta be there because it's so much
it.
more powerful in person. Yeah. So make sure you go. Yeah.
That's
we want to
true.
see all the seats sold. A blanket of gray on the
ticket
on the
site.
map. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and the nice thing is, we're not only here to talk about concerts that are almost sold out. We have more. We have more. So, I mean, tell us next up on our docket, moving closer.
Okay, so we're backward. Yeah,
We're going backwards. So, I believe this is next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, December 10th. Yeah,
is the Messiah singing.
And this concert is actually older than any of the other concerts. I shouldn't call it a concert. It's kind of an event. It's more than 50 years old. Started by my predecessor at UVA, Don Loach, and I think one of the first Messiah sing-ins in the country. There are now many of these around the country, and the idea is that the audience, all the seats in Old Cabell, are not people observing, they are people actively participating in singing Handel's music. And what we will do is, with a kind of a pickup orchestra on stage with we have a few pros in there, which will be great. We will work through various of the choruses and a few solos with guests of Handel's Messiah. And hundreds of people at the same moment, right? We can have 500-600 at this event typically. We'll get to sing it together. I mean, it brings to mind that phrase from the music, all flesh shall see it together. Because that's literally what happens at this event. And they get to be the performers.
Mm-hmm. So now, so it's not necessarily like you're just jumping in from beginning to end.
Right.
You're actually is it like a little back and forth too, where like you're teaching the
so what
audience
happens?
A little bit?
Yes, we sit in sections. I don't get too professorial, but we sit in sections, and I'll sing through it, and I will occasionally offer some tips, some tips, says the voice teacher. Exactly. Yes, a little musical guidance, or a little historical background, or just some musical ideas of how to make it more musical,
Now, do you do the Christmas section and the Hallelujah chorus at the end?
That's right. We occasionally, great question.
Of the other choruses from some of the other sections?
Yeah, we occasionally make a foray into something from the other sections. Mm-hmm. But principally, it's part one, a few solos, Hallelujah chorus. A little bit out of order. Mm-hmm. The idea that I inherited was that it was never you just start at page one and keep going. You jump around and enjoy it.
To try to make it fun.
You make sure you hit the big moment. People do have favorites and they want to sing them. So,
and I can imagine this people's disappointment if they did the whole thing and said, "Isn't there Hallelujah?"
Yeah, we do that. And people come from all over, and from toward your side of the mountain. A lot of Mennonite folks love to come over for this, which is fantastic because they're very good at singing. Yeah.
And you know what? It's a special experience. I'm guiltily enough. I haven't yet done, so I'm going to try to see if I can go this year.
Bring your brother and see how he does.
Is it a ticketed event?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get tickets. Tickets are very, I would say, inexpensive, and there are also student tickets. Mm-hmm. And those can be found at artsboxoffice.virginia.edu or by calling the UVA Arts Box Office.
Yep.
So,
the nice thing is if you Google Messiah singing in Charlottesville, first thing that pops up is the Department of Music. When you click it, there's a little box that says tickets, and it'll take you straight to the box office.
Perfect.
Nice.
So
and what time
you
is
don't
that?
even have to search it on the box office.
Yeah, when
December
is it?
10th at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
December 10th.
So that's next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
It's always the Tuesday kind of after classes have wrapped up.
So that you can get all the kids to come in. And
if they're not studying exams, yeah, we do. And I should say it benefits our choral ensembles at UVA, and it's sponsored principally by the UVA University Singers. And then a group of the students from all those courses usually sit in the front and kind of
act as a core.
They help the sound.
Okay.
So do you have to sort yourself as what?
Yeah, we have signs about where to sit if you're a soprano or a bass or.
What if you have no clue?
Then just have fun.
Okay.
Yeah, just have fun. Sit with your friends and see how it goes.
Hide yourself in the baritone section, probably.
Yeah, and pretend I'm like, I got a great voice.
Yeah.
You should hear me.
Yeah.
Next to this guy.
But then, you know what's nice is that I think people are so used to, especially if you're not part of an orchestra or something, you're probably most used to listening to music rather than participating in it.
Yeah.
And this is a nice way to do it without kind of that added pressure.
The stakes are low.
Yeah, exactly. You're not on the stage.
Yeah.
You're in the audience. You're hidden among 500 people.
Exactly. And look, if you want to just come and listen, there's a place to sit for that too. You can just come and listen. But most people come to sing. And I think, like you say, that's good. That's how things would have been speaking about going backwards, in a further time, just the sense that you have to make music yourself if you want music. Now we're blessed with all these ways to stream and play music, but I think it's very enlivening and good to make it ourselves sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, my mother's greatest memories, just to go back, she always tells us that her father, and his two brothers, one played trumpet, one played accordion, and my grandfather, God rest his soul, would sing. Yeah. And that's how they entertained themselves.
Little band.
Is that all on their own, or he'd play the piano or something, whatever he could.
No televisions.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people couldn't afford radio.
Yeah. Amazing. But then imagine that times 500, and then
that would be the concert, yeah.
Though no accordion, as far as I know.
Well, then we'll
it's not generally a staple of Handel's Messiah.
Not usually.
Yeah.
So
it's not the go-to.
Unless they played it in the street, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Katie Manning, thanks for watching the show this morning. And
one of our sopranos.
Oh, so I love it. We get all the beautiful singers tuning in and watching,
in addition to our regulars.
Exactly. So be sure to check that out. So that's also really easy. That one I don't believe is
not sold out yet.
But
love it if it did. But yeah,
exactly. Well, we can help make that
get
happen.
Your tickets because they're all selling out at this point. Yeah. They're very clear.
So that's
right.
Very easy to get to. December 10th at 8 p.m. And like I said, UVA Arts box office. But if you search for it on Google, you'll get the McIntyre Department of Music, and from there you click the little box that says tickets, and it'll take you right to the spot where you should go to get those tickets. So those you can still enjoy on a Tuesday evening. It can be your continuation of the Tuesday evening concert series.
That's right.
Now you can participate.
Yeah. You are the series now.
Yeah. Exactly. Which leads us to another wonderful concert, which is even closer.
It's weekend. In 2 days.
In 2 days, which is the family holiday concert with the UVA Singers and the Charlottesville Symphony. So maybe tell us a little bit about that. We're not necessarily telling everyone to go out and get tickets because
it's sold out.
But I'd love for people to know about it so we can kind of have it on their mind next year. And maybe talk about the experience of comparing it.
So I'm also very proud of these concerts, the family holiday concerts, which we started in 2005. So next year will be the 20th anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
And thank you, and it's a lot of people have contributed to that over the years, from the UVA University Singers, which is our flagship chorus at UVA, and also the Charlottesville Symphony, which I guest conduct, but it's led by my colleague Ben Rouse. And of course also our executive director for that, Janet Kaltenbach, helps out a great deal, and our faculty, principals, etc. And so this is a concert where we do a lot of pieces with big chorus and orchestra. You'll hear familiar favorites like Sleigh Ride, or you might hear a little excerpt of Nutcracker or something like this. But we also do pieces you might not hear every day. We have a great arrangement of Patapan for chorus and orchestra, the French Carol. There's going to be a kind of a spoof Christmas type piece. There's a movement of Vivaldi's Gloria. There's always at the end the Hallelujah Chorus from Handel. And we also have Leroy Anderson, Sleigh Ride, and Christmas Festival, which is wonderful, very traditional pieces. But I think the thing that people find most memorable is 12 Days of Christmas, where from day 6 to day 11, we leave out the 5 golden rings, and we have people in the audience with microphones, and they will just drop in front of people, and then they get a spontaneous solo on 5 golden rings. So now Christine would sound amazing on that. And some people have over the years sounded amazing, and sometimes it's been a little bit of a plant. You know, you have like a row of you singers alums or something. But sometimes you just get a kid or an adult who wasn't expecting to sing and does something quite lovely. And the audience gets very fired up about it. Occasionally just relief that they didn't get chosen to sing. But it really is a very fun tradition at these concerts. And they have become very popular in the community, right? Like I think the CVille just described it last week as a town gown favorite.
I think it really is.
And it's beautiful that it sells out 2 concerts very quickly, and you know, and some of our local dignitaries can come and as well, and anybody can come. Young people, it's meant for the family, just like Christmas at the Paramount.
Exactly. So
sometimes you can also reach people that you might not reach through our other regular concerts during the year.
Which is maybe they come for a Christmas carol that they know
exactly
and can follow.
But then
while they're there, they'll hear Vivaldi's
Gloria. Exactly.
Gloria, and they'll say, that's beautiful. Maybe I should listen to the whole thing.
Or just to hear a wonderful orchestra and a wonderful chorus, just like at Christmas at the Paramount. Singing and playing together is an uplifting, profound, and beautiful experience.
I remember the first time we went. Do you remember
what
happened?
One of my best memories ever.
One of the 5 golden rings was Professor Rouse's first year at the UVA Symphony, and he was the 5 golden rings.
Oh, and they got him?
Yeah, they got him. And you called him out for his falsetto voice.
He probably did that just
He did it on purpose, yeah.
See, there's a countertenor.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
My favorite was the very, very first time where this must have been maybe a decade ago. And there was the 5 golden rings, and suddenly on one of them, before they could hand the microphone to someone, some little boy in the audience just belts it, 5 gold ring, and you just stop, turned around, and clap. And everyone just stopped and clapped.
Isn't that hilarious?
He just got caught up.
He was so excited to sing.
So excited he didn't even need to be dropped in front. He wanted to sing 5 golden
That's great.
rings.
Yeah,
I do remember that now.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of memorable moments from that over the years. I mean, one year we got President Jim Ryan, our president of the university. One year there were a group of U Singers, alumni, and 2 of them had just gotten engaged. And they got the mic, and instead of singing 5 golden rings, they sang 1 diamond ring. And then everybody just clapped for the couple.
That was wonderful. That was witty, too.
It was very clever.
That's amazing. That's
I
wonderful.
forgot about that little boy. That's wonderful. He was just full of joy.
Yeah, he was so ready for it.
That's what it brings out.
And he didn't even do it shy, because you know how little kids sometimes will be shy, so they don't do it.
He
just belted it out, like full singing voice and everything. It was wonderful.
That was fun. I think this year we'll have nice memories, because isn't this the last concert? Won't
John Dirth
jazz
I'm glad I should have mentioned that sooner. So every year, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. So every year, I have a guest soloist, usually frequently from our faculty, and my friend and colleague John Dirth, who needs no introduction around here, a jazz legend, wonderful educator as well. I've been, my office is near a classroom where he teaches. I've heard him teach for years. He's an inspiring educator. And I thought, since he's retiring the end of this semester, let's get him to be our guest. And so he will, with his trumpet, we just rehearsed it last night, he will be playing and improvising on Winter Wonderland, and I'll be home for Christmas.
Those are perfect.
It's going to be, he's so good and imaginative.
Yeah, we have to give him shout-outs. We know multiple people have taken classes with him and absolutely just loved him.
Yeah, he's an excellent mentor.
So that, I think my submission, that will make for some memorable,
great moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some beautiful memories once again at that concert.
Yeah. So thank you. So that's a little bit about the family holiday concerts. And
I wanted to ask you about just in general, and this is really for both of you, because one of the things when it comes to Christmas concerts, right, is that you have some new things, but you're often doing pieces that people are very familiar with, or that you've heard, that you will, hear from December 1st, or probably now
even from
October 31st,
right?
to the end of the year. How do you kind of, approach it to do that? Do I need to do something new with it? Do I need to embrace the traditionalism of it? How do you kind of approach it each year when you're doing something that's so super familiar for people, but you want to make it special?
I have a thought, but let me let Christine take this one first, if you want.
Well, I just speaking personally as a musician and a mom and extended family, for me, music is so nostalgic, and it's like smells. Like when you hear something or you smell something, it takes you back.
That's a good point.
And it connects you, I think, to your emotions and how you felt as a child and the wonder of the season and just sort of the warm, connected feelings. Now, hopefully those are all good memories. That's probably not true for everyone, but for me, it's about family and closeness and connection, and within the musical context also, that is probably some of the music that got me to love music or got me to love singing, because they're so familiar that you could sing them by yourself initially, and then it's about community and coming together and celebrating something bigger than ourselves, which for me, music is really about what we all do as individuals to make something that is bigger than what we do alone.
100%.
Beautifully put.
100%. I agree with Christine about there's the traditional part that it can have a nostalgia factor for people. It can also help create new bright memories and bring some light to the season. So then what I think, to go back to your question, because I think you're getting at a question of like, how do you balance traditional and new as well? Every year, I think it's important that we're not just always doing exactly the same tunes. I mean, there's a couple things on both concerts that are a bit traditional, but there's some things that we've never done before on both concerts. So for an example, on the Oratorio Society concert, we have a setting by a good friend of mine, Carrie Magan. She's a composer up in New York State,
It's beautiful.
of a Latin a cappella piece.
And it's a non-traditional Latin text, too.
Absolutely. Vergente Mundi.
Pretty much all of us were in the choir
and
had never heard it before.
No one will know this piece ahead of the concert, so we present some new work, right? Or we're doing a carol that Alice Parker arranged with Robert Shaw. We haven't done that carol before, and Alice Parker was a choral legend. I knew her. I interviewed her several times. She just passed away at the age of last year at about 95 or something. She was incredibly full life, and I want to be like her because her mind was so sharp right to the end. So I think we honor her, but we also present some of her music, and that's one with the countertenor. So that'll be a nice way to mix, right, things that are familiar, like Hark the Herald, or on the other one, the Hallelujah Chorus, with things that are opening up people to music they may not have experienced, but that is equally meaningful.
Which, and the beautiful thing is that the music in that way kind of reflects how life works, right? Each Christmas, you have things which are extremely familiar, but you look forward to the new things. Who got married? What baby has joined the picture? You know what I mean? What friend is coming over that you didn't know last year?
Yeah.
And that's what makes the new memory.
Or
so it's
a conversation that happens amongst that you didn't have a different year.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing, or you're in a different place and it's a different experience. That's a great point. A mix of traditional and new.
With something new, which is the beauty of it. And just, I really enjoyed that aspect of it last year because, I mean, as much as I loved classical music, when I went to the Christmas at the Paramount last year, there were songs that I definitely knew, and there were ones that were brand new to me. I'm pretty sure what was the major, I forget what was the major central
Rudder's
piece.
Gloria.
Rudder's Gloria.
Year.
I had actually never heard it.
Yeah.
I had never had occasion to hear it before. Well, and Michael had mentioned it when we had done the interview, and so when you mentioned it at the time, I hadn't heard it yet. And so I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to go listen to this. I said, there's like a month to the concert.
Just a fresh experience.
I want to experience it for the first time there because Because I said, you know what, I've done this long without ever having heard it before. Let me experience it fresh.
Look, you know,
and the way it was meant to be experienced.
Yeah, sometimes it's, you know, it's great to know pieces and then they're familiar and you recognize them. But sometimes, I must say, you probably feel this as a musician too, we know a lot of music at this point.
Yeah.
It's sometimes wonderful to just be surprised by something that you haven't heard before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, just it brings back that first time.
Yeah.
Because we've all got our list of favorite pieces, right? But we can never recapture that very first time we started listening and realized, oh my goodness, I love this.
Yes.
Right? And so we've got those handful of ones that we do, and you just...
Do you
sometimes
ever...
it's hard to
So I'm
recapture.
so glad you said that. Did you wonder about... Here's something I wonder about. I remember when I was a kid, the first time I heard a decent, large choir. And the experience... Like, what that... I was just... astounded and inspired and everything at the same moment. I was just a kid and I thought, wow. And of course you and I, we don't have that experience anymore because we wouldn't be able to do our jobs if every minute we were just like, oh, wow. You know,
So this is what it's like.
but I do wonder, I hope that there are people out there that maybe haven't had a lot of exposure to a large chorus that sings beautifully, and they come and they have that experience, like you're talking about, that fresh first experience where they're just amazed by the transcendence of that.
I will say that actually is a nice segue to, because I've thought of this a couple of times while we've been talking. And last year, we, at our community event in the spring, we partnered with the Voces Lete youth choir, one of the choirs that they'll be appearing at the 7:30 performance of Christmas at the Paramount. And two of the young singers from that group auditioned for the Oratorio Society this fall because of their experience with us last spring.
Oh, my goodness.
And so they're singing with us at Christmas at the Paramount. They'll also be singing with Voces Lete on the 7:30 performance. But I just thought, here's one of those moments where they went, holy cow, this is in my town. I can do this. And came out for auditions and got in. And we're delighted when that happens. So, bring your younger kids, bring your middle school students, bring your high school students.
Don't maybe bring your 1-year-old.
Yeah, maybe not your 1-year-old. Although I will say that the Paramount has a lounge upstairs where they have the live stream video feed with sound. So if you sit in the back or in the balcony and you need to sneak out with your toddler, we're all for that. So it is a very eclectic program that is friendly to a wide variety of expertise levels and exposure levels. And if you've never heard a big choir with a brass ensemble or a harp this time.
Yeah.
We have an a cappella piece, and I have to say this is actually one of my favorite choral pieces, the Tavener, the Lamb.
Oh, we didn't talk about
I have never gotten to sing it, but I have heard it many times. And when that showed up on our list of music, I was like, yes!
So Tavener, just to say a quick word about this.
No, sure.
Tavener, modern British composer, no longer alive, but again, only passed away very, recently. Like Arvo Pärt, kind of cultivated a more austere spiritual style, and did this setting of the William Blake poem from Songs of Innocence and Experience, the Lamb. And it's beautiful and slightly thorny.
It is.
In its own way.
Very challenging.
Yeah, he's really using a very particular compositional technique, which makes it a challenging piece, and yet also very beautiful. And Christine is exactly right. We have this on the program, and I think it will be a very interesting experience for the listeners.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yes. Well, I remember Arvo Pärt was when you did his mass.
So good.
Several years ago. It was a beautiful
Mises
experience.
Syllabica,
Sometimes, and I think people will be surprised. I think that's one of the joys of going to something like this, because I think most people's experience of choral music probably has a lot of accompaniment to it. Like, in other words, if your only experience with choral is Beethoven's Ninth, then you're hearing it with a bunch of music, instruments thrown in. You will hear because of, I think, the talent, what Oratorio Society is able to do, you're able to hear those ones where it's just the voices. It's very pared down. It's very simple. And the beauty shines through in a way that sometimes, it isn't the same. It's just as beautiful, but isn't the same as when it's accompanied by a full orchestra.
I love it all, but there is something unique about each. Voices with instruments, I love it. Voices on their own, I love it. I mean, there's something beautiful and powerful. Yeah.
I want to return to the question about how to make something or experience it new versus the other thing that we're doing on this Christmas program is one of the movements from Bach's Mass in B minor, which we are doing next spring.
May.
it's
And
on the calendar.
Again, that is one of the pieces that I heard as a teenager for the first time, professionally performed, and went,
Gosh, I'm jealous.
Holy cow.
I didn't hear it till I was in my 20s.
Well, I got to sing it in my 20s, and it's been a favorite ever since. I mean, I think for a lot of classical music lovers,
this is
the Bach
piece.
Mass in B minor is
pivotal. Yeah.
It's like, it's not just pivotal, it's pinnacle.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's like the piece. So you'll get a little taste of that, what we can bring to that. And again, we're doing one of this, I won't say which, one of the movements that is quieter but also has a moment, a peak. And we'll get a little of the brass accompaniment that is standard part of the orchestration. You won't get to hear it with full orchestra until May, but just giving you a little taste. A little foreshadowing, and that is again one of my absolute favorites on this program.
Oh, that'll be beautiful.
I was excited when I saw it because Michael had lunch with Xavier and I once, and that was one of the pieces we talked about, is how difficult that must be to conduct.
It is. That's a big piece, 2 hours long, and it's Bach, so you want to really give it the respect and do justice that it deserves. But like Christine, I mean, Christine sounds just like me. A lot of us think this is the greatest music ever written or assembled, or however you want to describe it.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited that we're going to experience a little bit of it on this concert, and then as a preview, a foretaste of the whole piece when we do it in May. At Old Capitol Hall?
At Old Capitol Hall.
Yeah, because I think there are, and people, if they go to Oratorio Society, right, both the Spring Together in Song concert and the Bach Mass in B minor, you can't buy tickets yet, but you can get the dates.
Yes.
And everything
so
that
please
you need.
mark down the dates
and
Mark
details.
it on your calendar, get the details. Because the Together in Song that's the event where
you can register to sing with us.
Yeah,
Yes.
learn the piece and sing. That's in March,
So that'll be March. Yeah, March 15th.
Yeah, check the website again in January. Certainly for the March event, that'll be up in January.
Probably also the Bach.
The Bach, I'm working on that.
I want to see that. Everybody should hopefully come. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. Well, great that people can get a preview of it.
Yeah. It's like, how do you follow Beethoven 9, right? You guys said
What
such
are we going to
beautiful
do after
things.
Mass in B minor?
This is one of the answers, right?
Yes, exactly.
No, that's true. What do you do after Mass in B minor? Then you scale it down all the way.
I have an idea, but
Yeah, that's good. No, we
Carmina
do
Burana,
have an
you just
idea,
start
actually.
But I mean, it's a beautiful experience, and I think a great way for people to kind of get it. If you've never been to a Virginia Oratorio Society, come for Christmas.
Yeah.
Come in March, and then trust me, if you do one of those two things, you will be there in May. I
was going to say, these are pieces too, like the Mass in B minor, the Beethoven, these kind of concerts. We are lucky to live in Charlottesville where we have these things, because Charlottesville is not necessarily the size of a town where you would expect to have such great just talent. That's just so concentrated in such a small area.
Yeah,
usually you'd have to be in a city, I would feel like, to
a big city.
It's a big city.
And at a high level. Yeah, I mean, I think we're blessed that we have a lot of creative people in this area. We have a lot of supportive people in this area, including donors and foundations that support us and help us make these things reality. And you have also a community. I mean, it's a growing community, but I think with the university and then the community around it, a lot of people who are interested in these kind of beautiful works of art and performances. And that's great. It's great to be a part of a community that loves music in many ways.
And we'd like to have people like you, Christine, that help make it happen, even with the behind-the-scenes work.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Look, hugely, it's essential.
Yeah,
It's
because you
essential,
need
'cause it
people
needs
to do the other work beyond.
Can I just put a shout out?
The actual singing.
She's very good at it. She's very good at it.
I mean, one of the shows already sold out. We
That's
know
right.
she's good at it. Yeah.
And you as well, Michael, that just put
try
so
to
much work into.
you're right. You try to put something out there
fostering
that
it.
people, if they've experienced it, then they want to
Yeah.
come back for it, and that's part of the success too, I think. And the choir's doing really beautiful singing right now.
Yeah.
All the choirs we've talked about today, are doing beautiful singing.
Absolutely. Well, this has been such an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for coming on. So I just want to reiterate. So for the Christmas at the Paramount on Saturday, the 21st at 7:30, that's the Paramount.net.
Correct.
For tickets. For anything else Oratorio Society Virginia related, oratoriosociety.org. And then for the Messiah singing, it's either the UVA Arts box office or Google Messiah singing Charlottesville. Make sure you put Charlottesville, otherwise you'll
the
might get a lot of other ones.
Utah, everywhere.
Norway.
Make sure you put
Norway.
Messiah singing Charlottesville, and trust me, the internet will get you to the right place. But this has been such a joy. Always
Likewise.
love having you both on, and love
Our pleasure.
what you do.
We enjoy it
Our
too.
pleasure, yeah.
It's been great.
Thank you.
We'll be seeing you in person at the
Yes,
concerts.
Yes.
We've seen you shortly.
Great.
And then who else? I think Stephanie Kowalczyk. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning and for watching us. Thanks to everyone who joined us, gave us all these likes and hearts, and Stephanie hearted it, so she's really
Wonderful.
hearting.
Loving
she's
it.
really hearting the. Loving
She's a good
the,
singer.
Loving it. So thanks for everyone who tuned in. Thanks for being here with me, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
You know, we'll keep posting on Facebook for what's coming up. I mean, on Today Mañana in the holiday season. And thank you, Judah, behind the camera for doing his magic showing. It was great. Everyone who was viewing was able to see kind of the poster for each concert.
Oh, great.
So they were able to see the dates and everyone. I could see it popping up. So Judah was on top of that, making sure everyone could see it. So we appreciate that. Thanks for being on with me, Nick. Thanks all of you for joining us. Thank you, of course, Charlottesville Opera, Matthias, Realty, Craddock Serious Insurance. Thank you, Emergent Financial Services, for presenting. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay warm and safe from the wind today. Safe driving. We look forward to seeing you all next week. But until that time, as we like to close it out,
Hasta mañana.